something straight from the start. Women don't chase men just because they're handsome, rich, or smooth talkers. They chase the men who get them, the men who understand what most guys miss completely. And the crazy part? Most men are so busy trying to impress women that they never stop to realize that the real power is in understanding them. Now, before you jump to conclusions, this doesn't mean becoming overly emotional or acting like her therapist. It means knowing how women think, how they react, and what they respond to, and using that knowledge in a calm, confident way. Because here's the uncomfortable truth most men never want to hear. Women rarely run after a man they can predict, but they will chase a man who understands their emotional patterns. When you know what triggers attraction, what turns them off instantly, and what makes them feel truly seen, you become the kind of man they don't want to lose. The reason this matters is simple. Women are flooded with attention every day, online, offline, everywhere. Compliments don't move them. Expensive looks don't shock them. But a man who understands them, a man who sees through the noise, that's rare, and women chase rarity. Understanding women isn't about being nice, being overly patient, or trying to be perfect. It's about recognizing the subtle behaviors, the hidden tests, the emotional swings, and the small signals they send, often without saying a word. And when you respond correctly, they automatically start investing more, thinking more, and yes, even chasing you. First, women chase men who don't seek validation. Here's a truth most men don't want to accept. The moment you start seeking a woman's approval, she stops seeing you as the man she wants to chase. Women are naturally drawn to men who hold their own ground, men who don't beg for attention, reassurance, or emotional hand-holding. Why? Because a man who doesn't seek validation communicates strength, self-belief, and independence without even trying. And those qualities create a kind of tension women find irresistible. When you're not constantly trying to impress her, win her over, or prove your worth, she starts to wonder why. That curiosity makes her put in effort. It makes her invest. It makes her chase. Most men make the same mistake. They overtext, overexplain, overcompliment, or overgive because they fear losing her. But when a woman feels you're trying too hard, she doesn't feel special. She feels smothered. And here's the twist. The man who doesn't need her validation instantly becomes more valuable in her eyes. Not because he's playing games, not because he's being arrogant, but because his confidence is rooted in himself, not her reaction. A man who doesn't chase validation doesn't panic when she takes long to reply. He doesn't change his personality to fit her mood. He doesn't abandon his plans just to seem available. Instead, he shows consistency. He shows emotional control. He shows that he values himself. And that is exactly the kind of man women naturally move toward, because he represents stability and strength, not desperation. 1. Example. Imagine you text her, and she doesn't respond for hours. Most guys double text or send something like, "Did you see my message?" That's validation seeking. But the man she chases thinks differently. He doesn't react emotionally. He keeps living his life. Hours later, when she finally replies, he responds in his normal tone, calm, short, and centered. No neediness, no pressure, no emotional reaction. That simple difference puts her in a position where she starts trying harder because she realizes she's not the center of his world. And that makes her want to earn her place in it. Second, she runs after men who read her emotional signals. Here's something most men never figure out. Women communicate more through emotion than through words. And when a man understands this, he becomes instantly more attractive because he can read what many guys completely miss. Women rarely say exactly what they feel, not because they're trying to confuse you, but because they expect you to sense what's going on. They expect you to understand the tone behind the words, the energy behind the reactions, and the meaning behind the silence. And the men who can do this, calmly and confidently, are the ones women don't want to lose. Most men mess up here. They take everything literally. If she says, "I'm fine," they believe it. If she withdraws, they panic. If she gets moody, they overreact. But the man she chases? He understands that her emotional signals matter more than the phrases she uses. He can feel when she needs space. He can sense when she wants reassurance without her begging for it. He knows when she's testing him, when she's overwhelmed, and when she's craving connection. And he handles it without losing his cool. This makes her feel something she doesn't feel with most men, understood. And when a woman feels understood, she gets attached. When she gets attached, she invests. When she invests, she chases. A man who can read emotional signals doesn't fight her moods, doesn't mock her sensitivity, and doesn't take everything personally. He stays grounded, steady, and observant. And that steadiness creates trust, the kind of trust that makes her want to move closer instead of pulling away. Second example, she suddenly goes quiet during a conversation. The average guy says, "What? Why are you acting weird?" Instant tension, instant disconnect. But the man she chases notices the shift and calmly says, "Something feels off. Talk to me when you're ready." No pressure, no panic, no misunderstanding. She feels seen, she feels understood, and she opens up because he handled her emotion with confidence, not confusion. Third, predictable men bore her instantly. Here's a harsh truth. Women lose interest in predictable men faster than anything else. Predictability kills excitement, kills curiosity, and kills the emotional spark that makes a woman want to chase you. When she can guess your next move, your next text, your next reaction, she stops feeling drawn to you. Most men fall into this trap without realizing it. They repeat the same patterns over and over, texting at the same time every day, giving the same compliments, responding the same predictable way whenever she gets emotional, always being available, never surprising her energy or shifting the dynamic. At first, she may appreciate the stability, but after a while, it becomes too easy, too expected, too routine. And routine is the enemy of attraction. Think about it. If she always knows you'll say yes, always knows you'll reply instantly, always knows you'll accept her behavior no matter what, where's the excitement? Where's the challenge? Where's the tension that makes her feel something? Attraction thrives on a little unpredictability. Not chaos, not emotional games, but healthy unpredictability. The kind that makes her wonder what you think, what you'll do, how you'll respond. The kind that keeps her engaged and invested because she can feel that you're not operating from fear or routine. Predictable men become background noise. Unpredictable men stand out. A man who isn't predictable keeps her attention without even trying. Maybe today he's playful, tomorrow he's focused, the next day he's mysterious and quiet because he's busy with his own life. He's not stuck in one mode. He lives with depth, and she feels it. When a woman feels like there's always something new to discover about you, a new opinion, a new interest, a new layer of personality, she becomes naturally more drawn in. She leans forward, she tries harder, she invests more, because your energy doesn't feel flat or repetitive. Men who bore women are easy to forget. Men who keep women guessing just a little are impossible to overlook. Fourth, she tests you because she wants to feel safe. Let's be brutally honest here. Most men fail women's tests not because the tests are hard, but because the men themselves aren't grounded. And that's exactly why these tests exist. Women don't test you to punish you. They test you to see if you're stable enough, confident enough, and mature enough to be trusted. But here's the problem. Too many men take everything personally. She gets moody, he panics. She pulls back, he gets clingy. She questions him, he becomes defensive. And men need to wake up to this reality. Women test because they want to feel emotionally safe, not because they want drama. If you crumble at the smallest challenge, how can she trust you when life gets difficult? A lot of men talk about wanting feminine, peaceful, beautiful women, but they don't want to do the inner work required to handle feminine energy. They want the softness without being strong. They want the affection without being dependable. They want her loyalty without proving emotional stability. Here's the truth. A woman's test reveals more about you than it does about her. When she pulls back slightly, she's not asking you to chase. She's watching if you stay centered. When she questions something, she's not attacking. She's checking if you stay calm. When she's emotional, she's not trying to overwhelm you. She's looking to see if you can create stability. Women chase men who handle these moments with confidence instead of panic. Men who get offended by her emotions, who complain that women are too much, who fall apart the second she acts differently. These men end up frustrated, lonely, and confused because they never learned how to show up as solid, grounded men. And this is the wake-up call. If you want a woman to chase you, admire you, and stay loyal to you, you must become the man who doesn't fold under emotional pressure. Being unshakable isn't about being cold. It's about being stable, being sure of yourself, being the calm in the storm. When she tests you and you stay steady, you don't just pass. You become the man she doesn't want to lose. Fifth, women chase men who stay calm under pressure. One thing women notice instantly and judge silently is how a man behaves when things get tense. And here's the truth most guys won't admit. Too many men lose control at the smallest inconvenience. They get irritated too fast, emotional too easily, and insecure too quickly. And nothing kills attraction like a man who can't stay calm. Women are emotional by nature. They feel deeply. They express strongly. They move through emotions like waves. But the man they chase, he's the one who stays steady no matter what wave hits. If you panic when she panics, she won't feel safe. If you raise your voice when she's overwhelmed, she'll pull away. If you shut down when she's emotional, she'll feel alone. Women aren't drawn to chaos. They're drawn to the man who can hold himself together even when the moment gets messy. A man who can be the anchor, not another storm, and let's be real. A lot of men fold way too fast. They misinterpret every emotional shift as rejection. They take every disagreement as disrespect. They see every challenge as a threat to their ego. This is why so many men struggle. They react instead of respond. A woman watches how you handle difficulty because it tells her everything. If you lose your cool, you look weak. If you get dramatic, you look inexperienced. If you get defensive, you look insecure. But if you stay calm, even when she's emotional, stressed, or frustrated, she feels something she rarely feels with modern men: trust. And trust turns into attraction, fast. Staying calm under pressure doesn't mean ignoring her feelings. It means not letting those feelings control you. It means listening without being shaken. It means responding with clarity, not ego. It means showing emotional strength, not emotional fragility. A calm man stands out in a world full of reactive men. A steady man feels rare. A grounded man feels valuable. And women chase what feels valuable. Sixth, she values the man who sets boundaries early. Here's a hard truth most men refuse to face. If you don't set boundaries, she will not respect you, and she won't chase you. Many men think being flexible, agreeable, or easygoing is attractive, but the reality is the exact opposite. Women are drawn to men who know their limits, stand by their rules, and respect themselves first. Too many guys think boundaries are about being controlling or rigid. Wrong. Boundaries are about self-respect and clarity. They show a woman that you have standards, priorities, and a life that doesn't revolve entirely around her. And women chase men who are anchored in that kind of stability. Think about it. A man who says yes to everything never expresses what he wants and tolerates behavior he doesn't like. She sees him as weak and easily replaceable. There's no challenge, no intrigue, no reason to chase. But when a man sets boundaries, politely, confidently, and early, he communicates three things at once. He values himself. He knows how to handle life. He expects respect, not compliance. Women don't consciously think this through, but they feel it instantly. Boundaries make a man feel like a resource, not a doormat. They create tension and attraction naturally because she has to engage with the real version of him, not a version she can mold or control. Here's another wake-up call for men. Setting boundaries isn't mean, and it isn't pushing her away. It's defining who you are and how you operate. If she's going to chase you, she must understand that you have standards she needs to meet, and that she can't take you for granted. A man without boundaries is invisible. A man with clear, confident boundaries is unforgettable. When you establish your limits early, you create a space where she can feel secure, intrigued, and even challenged. And that combination, that's magnetic. Women don't chase men who bend over backward for them. They chase men who know what they will and won't tolerate, and live by it. 7. Women don't trust men who overshare their feelings. Here's a truth most men refuse to face. Oversharing kills attraction. Many guys think pouring out every thought, feeling, and insecurity will make a woman feel closer to them. Wrong. Most women don't chase men who are emotionally transparent in the wrong way. They chase men who are emotionally strong and measured. Too many men make this mistake. They spill their worries, complain about life, or reveal doubts too soon. They think vulnerability equals connection. But oversharing too early or too often creates dependency, insecurity, and discomfort. Instead of seeing him as strong, she sees him as fragile, someone who needs her to feel whole. That kills the chase. Women are wired to trust men who can hold their emotions, control their reactions, and express themselves selectively. They want to feel understood, not burdened. When a man can communicate calmly and confidently, she feels safe. When a man unloads every fear, disappointment, or frustration, she feels stressed. And her instinct is to step back. Think about your own experiences. Have you ever been around a guy who complains constantly or overshares personal struggles too soon? Did it make you feel drawn to him, or did it create tension and awkwardness? Most of the time, it's the latter. That's exactly how women react to men who overshare. Here's the key. Women chase emotional strength, not emotional dumping. They want a man who can listen, empathize, and respond without becoming overwhelmed himself. They want a man who chooses the right moments to share, making it meaningful instead of overwhelming. Oversharing shows neediness. Measured sharing shows confidence. And confidence? That's what triggers attraction, investment, and ultimately, the chase. Men need to wake up. Your emotions are powerful tools, but only if you use them wisely. Overshare too much, and she sees you as weak. Use them strategically, and she sees you as a man worth chasing. Conclusion. Here's the most controversial truth I can give you. Most men fail with women not because women are hard to understand, but because men are emotionally lazy. That's right, women aren't the problem, you are. You're too predictable, too needy, too reactive, or too willing to give her your time and energy before she's earned it. And while other men are whining or begging for attention, the men who understand these truths are out there being calm, grounded, and selective. And those are the men women actually chase. I want you to take this seriously. Stop blaming women for your struggles. Stop giving your power away. Start observing, start learning, and start applying the principles that actually make women feel understood and attracted. The men who do this aren't playing games. They're simply doing what most men refuse to do. They master themselves first. I want to hear from you. Comment below with your experiences, where you failed, where you succeeded, or what surprised you most. I'll personally read your stories and reach out to discuss them. Let's turn these lessons into real results together. Because the difference between being ignored and being chased isn't luck. It's strategy, awareness, and execution.